Thank you guys for joining us. Now we will be starting with our usual way of starting every of our lectures and political speeches. We will be starting with the national anthem of the Yoruba Republic.
Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ni ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lépa. Tẹ̀síwájú ọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ ògbà ìgbé bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. And I will be monitoring some of the comments you say. It's been a long time. Mr. Israel, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Mr. Adiako, thank you so much. Now we would like to say that our platform is not for the Igbo people. We have not had any interference whatsoever from the Hausa Fulani. We have always been having interferences from the criminally minded Igbo, and then we're warning you that to get out of our platform. You do your own Honda Nnamdi Kanu terrorist IPOP organization. They are always doing propaganda. We don't want you around. That's why we're giving you a clear warning. You are clearly our target because you are the #1 enemy of the Yoruba nation. And if we do not deal with you now, we might never get it right as a people, the Yoruba nation. So folks, from today and for the next 5 days, I will be speaking on Aregbesola, who is the anointed presidential candidate of the Fulani for 2023. And the Fulani are scared of Tinubu taking the presidency. They know one thing alone. Tinubu does not support the unitary system. Tinubu, right from inception, when he became the senator around 1992, he has been clamoring for a decentralized democracy. Decentralized democracy simply means a return back to the regional system of government, devolution of power to the respective 10 nations that made up the Union of Nigeria, so to say. Because the Fulani are not open to a return to regional government, they are working day and night to ensure that Tinubu does not get the APC presidential ticket. If he does, they are working with the Igbo to ensure that he does not become the elected president of Nigeria. We at YYF, which is the think tank of the Yoruba nation, we have 6 million members all over the world, I have been told. And we speak for the 29.9 million young Yoruba all over Nigeria. And then as the voice of the Yoruba nation, I want you to consider whatever it is that we say very, very seriously. All the people who address themselves as a fairly liberal wings led by Ayuade Banjo and the likes, and the fairly conservative wings. They have actually had their dancing days. Many of them are in their 90s, yet they want to be speaking for those of us in our early 40s, for people in their early 30s, for people who are just starting life in their early 20s. Now, that is ridiculous, to say the least. We won't take that. So for the next 5 days, we will expose to you the people who have always disguised themselves as Yoruba, but in all purposes and intentions, they are not Yoruba. They're just bullshitting us with that appellation. But before we go into that details of the irresponsible action of Aregbesola, who is not a Yoruba man, by the way, it's a lot of shocking to a number of people. He's not a Yoruba man. Before we go into that, something happened on the 5th of September 2020. There was an academic journal called Izu View the World. This academic journal published an article by a professor, Professor Kobayashi at Nagoya University in Japan. Now, this article has interested a number of people across the world. The article believes that within the next 10 years, that the United States of America is very likely to suddenly split and collapse within the next 10 years. And then when you look at United States of America, you consider it a great nation. And you don't expect such a nation to just suddenly fall and collapse. But we have had great nations in the past. We've had the Roman Empire that collapsed. We have had the British Empire that collapsed. Then we have the Soviet Union, the USSR. It went down as well. So it is not unexpected, and it will not be a shock if the United States of America goes the way of the other great nations and empires that we have had. You remember the Oyo Empire used to be very great. We were so powerful to the extent that we were in Dahomey, controlling the economic affairs there and political affairs. So there is no empire that actually lasts forever. So on the basis of this, the article believes that there are 3 fundamental reasons why the United States of America will split up by 2030. That's 10 years from now. But because we are Yoruba citizens, majority of us are full-blooded Yoruba, pure Yoruba blood, because our concern is about our homeland. We're particular about making Yorubaland great. That is our purview. That is our focus. It is our objective. So one of these 3 reasons why the United States of America has been predicted to collapse in the next 10 years is what we want to focus our attention on as a people and as a movement. The major reason why the United States is very likely to collapse by year 2030 is change in population, demographic change in America. Now, many of you will look at that and say, how can change in population bring about the collapse of the United States? Change in population actually caused the longest civil war on planet Earth. That civil war happened in Yorubaland. Some will call it Kiriji War. It is the longest civil war on Earth. The second longest civil war on Earth is the English Civil War. It was fought for 11 years. We Yoruba, we fought ourselves for 16 years. What caused that war, the Kiriji War? Change in demographic population, because we allow slaves to live peacefully, to have the same rights and privileges as citizens. That led to the civil war in Yorubaland. It is going to cause another civil war now. You will see as we go on further. So, according to that article that was published by the professor, it says that the fundamental reason why the United States of America might split up by 2030 is change in population. There is a survey by the Brookings Institute in the United States of America. That survey released a report on the change in the ethnic proportion of the US population. The survey says that in 1980, white Americans accounted for 60% of the population of the United States. If you look at the great countries on earth today, they are always monocultural. They are not multicultural. Nigeria is a multicultural. That is why it is not a great nation, a great country. Name all the countries that is great today on planet Earth. They are monocultural. For instance, America is a monocultural country. A lot of people don't know because the white has the majority of the population. As I was saying, in 1980, the white Americans accounted for 80% of the population of America. If you go to Russia, 74% of the Russian population is ethnic Russia. That makes Russia a monocultural country. If you go to Japan, 95% of the population of Japan is Japanese. That makes Japan a monocultural country. If you go to China, 92+% of the Chinese population is Han ethnic groups. That makes China a monocultural country. But if you come to Nigeria, the Yoruba is 25%, the Hausa is 21%, the Igbo is 18%. There is no ethnic nations in Nigeria that has the majority of more than 60%. For you to describe a nation as monocultural, at least one of the ethnic groups must have majority of 51% plus. Where you don't have the nations within a country with majority of 51 plus, some journalists will say 65 plus. Where you don't have that, that country cannot be described as monocultural. Nigeria is not monocultural. Ghana is not monocultural. They are multicultural. That's why they are having problems. But if you look across European countries, the majority of their countries are monocultural. The United Kingdom is monocultural because English accounted for more than 84% of the population. It makes it monocultural. So all the great countries in the world are monocultural completely. Nigeria is a multicultural. That is why it's a disorganized space. So the research released by Brookings Institute in America says that in 1980, the population of white Americans accounted for 80%. And the rest, blacks, Latinos, and Asians, and other non-white accounted for 20% of the US population in 1980. So whatever the whites decide in America stays. They are the majority. So they control the level of power. They control the distribution of resources because they are majority. The same research pointed out that in 2018, white Americans only accounted for 60% of the population of the United States. Non-whites, that is black, Latino, and Asians, they accounted for 40%. You can see that the demographic is for the white Americans is reducing. And when that is reducing, what you are going to get is war, problem, like you have in Nigeria, because the white is losing their majority. So the release by the Japanese professor Professor Kobayashi, says that according to the trend that has been captured and been observed since 1980, in about 20 years from now, white population will drop to 20%. White in America will become a clear minority. People that started from 80%, they will be 20% population by 2030. There are two important points in this quantitative change in demographic structure of American politics. There are two important factors. Very important. The whites are losing their majority in America. By 2030, they will drop to about 20% of the population of the United States. So what are the implications? There are two that has been identified by this professor. He said, from the federal government to the local government, more non-white people will control political power. He's saying that if this trend continues and white Americans continue to drop in population, while black populations, Latinos population, Asian population increases, then from their federal government in America to the local government, non-white will control power. The second important thing that we must note from this change in demographic in America is that non-white people, that is black, Latino, and Asia in America, will redistribute economic and social resources through legislation. Because as the population of white decreases, that of non-white increases, the non-white will control the political power. And when they get that power, they will favor themselves. That is logic. It's logical. They will favor themselves because they will then be responsible for the redistribution of economy and social resources through legislation. Legislation is governance. These fundamental changes in political power, social and economic resources will bring about division and suffering. You think white people will fold their hands? Now let me just say this to the Yoruba in America and to the Yoruba across the world who are happy that Joe Biden has been projected as the winner of the American election. I don't believe that. I still believe that President Trump will spring a surprise and still win the presidency. But to those of you who are Yoruba, happy that Joe Biden is projected to win the presidency of America, do you think that Joe Biden, a white Caucasian man, will allow the population of white America to go down to their destruction? He would not. Why this research is to the public? Both the white Republicans and the white Democrat will ensure that the population of white Americans will not fall below its majority. Joe Biden will do it. Already, he has just been projected by the fake news media. What you see him doing? He's already saying to the UK that if he becomes president, they will be at the back of the queue for trade negotiation. That he's going to protect the interests of the Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Why? Because Joe Biden is an Irish guy. I'm going to talk about how America is founded because you all know some of these things. We raised this. So don't be happy unnecessarily. Joe Biden, a white American, is not a foolish white American. He will protect the interests of white Americans first and foremost. And already they will work to ensure that the interest of white is protected. That's what they will ensure. They will work to ensure that the interest of white is protected. So all of you idiot, stupid Yoruba celebrating Joe Biden's projected election win, it's not going to come and protect the interests of the Yoruba. Now, if you look at the history of the Democratic Party, whenever they are in power in America, they suppress and subjugate the Yoruba nation the more. And if you don't have the memory, look at what happened in 1993 when Abiola, a Yoruba citizen, won the presidential election. Bill Clinton was the president of the United States, a Democratic president. It was under his watch that the election of Abiola was annulled by Igbo and Fulani. It was under Bill Clinton that Abiola was arrested. It was under Bill Clinton presidency that Abiola's wife was assassinated. It was under Bill Clinton presidency that Abiola was assassinated. As a matter of so I think I thought we were shut down. As a matter of fact, like I was saying, the people who were responsible for the assassination of MK Abiola were the Democratic Party under Bill Clinton. And let me tell you this that you don't know, Yoruba liberals that are celebrating the projection of the fake media that Joe Biden has won the election. You're celebrating that. You guys can see me. Are they trying to? Can you see me, guys? Can you see me? Okay, some people are saying yes. I need to verify this. We've lost you down there. Some people are saying they're having problem. So what's going on? Okay, yes, you can see me. Okay, fine. Give me one moment to quickly run this thing down. Yeah, because I need to be sure that we are on the right track. Everything just went down. Okay, yeah, they're saying that the problem is not from me, from YouTube. They are reporting the video. You see, well, Metropolitan Police are always watching my video, always. They are the ones shutting me down in all of these places, but they continue to deny to the court. They continue. Everything just went down here right now. I don't know what's going on. So let me try and sort things out, guys. Okay, many of you say keep going ahead. Okay, I'll keep going ahead. I can't read anything. You can see me. Yeah, thank you very much. Look, I was talking about before we were shut down. This is what they keep saying. Let me quickly use this to the police, the Metropolitan Police in London. They are trying to shut down all of my research work that I've been doing since an undergraduate student. They seized the first book that I published, Why Nigeria is Poor. I published this as an undergraduate student. They seized it. The only copy I have. I have a private blog where I kept all of the research work that I've done as an undergraduate up till my adult life. Everything has been terminated. And it is the police that have access to it. And they went before a judge and lying to the judge that they are not responsible. So the judge will have to make an order. If we can't get this thing by January, the judge will have to make an order for a third-party disclosure for all of my things to be brought. That's the state we had. They just continue to want to shut us down. Like we were in court on Thursday. You can imagine the police were saying to a judge, a Crown Court judge, that I should not be allowed to speak. But the judge was very mad at them, saying to them that if they don't want me to speak on social media, they should go to the Attorney General's office and make that request. And if the Attorney General will grant them that request, they should come back to our court and make an application to stop me from speaking. And I should be given the chance to defend myself. Why are they shutting us down? We are young Yoruba for freedom. We do things that is to protect and safeguard the interests and welfare of the Yoruba nation. We are fearless. Our generation is different from our parent generation. So they must stop all of these things that they're doing. They're just distracting us, guys. So don't let me digress. I'm just saying to the Yoruba that are celebrating the projected presidency of Joe Biden, a Democratic man, that they should be worried if Joe Biden is eventually declared winner, because it's going to undermine the greatness of the Yoruba nation. And they might even kill Tinubu. When Abiola was alive, he funded the Democratic Party. He funded the Black Caucus of the Democratic Party. But when he won an election, the election was annulled. The Democratic Party did nothing. The Black Caucus of the Democratic Party, they did nothing. When that man was arrested, they did not come to his aid. When he was assassinated, they were aware. As a matter of fact, without the approval of the United States government. So understand, and Tinubu, when he was in America, he's been supporting Democratic Party, funding them, doing everything. I've seen people that are very, very close to Tinubu celebrating Joe Biden. It's dangerous for the Yoruba nation. This is what you don't know. Very dangerous. We, young Yoruba for freedom, we support President Trump, we support the Republican Party, and we'll continue to do so. But folks, let us continue before this problem that was imposed on us by people reporting our videos to YouTube to flag us because they don't want the truth to be told. So you've seen the implication of the demographic change in America. There is reduction of white population. I'm coming to show you the implication on the Yoruba nation. Because of this reduction, because it has been projected by the year 2030, white Americans will be only 20% of the population of America. That means that from their federal government to the local government, non-white will control power. And that is very dangerous for white Americans. If the black should control power in America, it's very dangerous. And the second important thing that will happen to white Americans is that the redistribution of economic and social resources will be done by non-white people through legislation. That means non-white will control the government of America for the first time. since the creation of that country. And that will bring about division and suffering to America. It will bring about the end of the United States. The remaining whites will break up from the United States and have their own country. That is likely going to happen. If you look at this that has been projected to happen to America, what do you think is currently going on with the Yoruba nation? What do you think is currently going on with the Yoruba nation? I want you guys, the members of WOW, to supply the link that we have shown you. There is a link that we've provided earlier today. Many of you has a copy. It is a journal published by Journal of Population Sciences. It was published on the 4th of March, 2020. It was the journal written by a Yoruba citizen, Yemi Adewoyin. The title of that journal is Ethnic Fertilities Behavior and Internal Migration in Nigeria. Ethnic fertility behavior and internal migration in Nigeria. Revisiting the migrant fertilities hypothesis. It was a restart that was done in March 2020 published, but we have done it as far back as 2012. I have shown you what is likely going to happen to America as predicted by a professor in Japan, because the population of America is going down. The population of white Americans is going down. Now, this journal that was released by the Journal of Population Sciences in America says that 75% of internal migrants among the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria from the sample collected are domiciled in Yorubaland. So that what that means in a layman understanding is that if you randomly selected 100 Nigerians who are not living in their space, who are living outside their space, 75% of them are living in Yorubaland. It's shocking. Yoruba who are living outside Yorubaland are only 10% of migrants within Nigeria. So that what that says is this: if you randomly selected Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, Fulani, you select them together. Those who are not living in their own space, only 10% of the Yoruba are living outside Yoruba. But in respect of Igbo, 52% of the Igbo are living outside Igbo land. 40% of Hausa are living outside Hausa land. They are coming to live in Yoruba land. That's what he says. This dangerous trend must be stopped. Sometimes ago, we said to you that in 2012, we did vehicular movement of vehicles that are traveling from Igbo land into Yoruba land. And our calculation is so perfect. We found out that over 500 vehicles travel from Igbo land into Yoruba land in one day. Only 100 of such vehicles return. That's a shortfall of 400. We then estimated that for each vehicle, there are 50 passengers. If you multiply 50 by 400 vehicles that are coming from Igbo land straight into Yoruba land, that is 20,000 Igbo every day. This is too dangerous. It is 140,000 every week, 560,000 in a month. 6.7 million Igbo are moving into Yoruba land every year. This is a dangerous trend. 75% of the population of Lagos is actually Igbo, foreigners. Look at that. Does that sound similar to what is going to happen to white people in their space in America? It's already happening to the Yoruba nation. That's why you have a lot of fake people who are actually not Yoruba, pretending to be Yoruba people. This is going to cause the erosion of the Yoruba civilization. The mass migration of the people who are not Yoruba into Yorubaland is why we have mass takeover of Yorubaland, mass takeover of our job, mass takeover of our buildings, housings, and schools by foreigners. Now, Joe Biden, who is white Americans, he will never allow whites to be minority in America. So you might be laughing, you might be celebrating, you might be pumping champagne because the Democratic Joe Biden has been projected to win because of your hatred for Trump. It's not going to come and protect the interests of Black, Latino, or Asia over and above that of white. It will ensure that the research that has been stated does not come to reality. It will make sure that immigrants are not allowed to come into America, because if they continue to allow mass migration of immigrants into America, white population will reduce and non-white will take over power, and they will use it to destroy white people the more. Who is protecting the interests of the Yoruba nation? Who? Who is going to stop the mass migration of the Igbo? Read that research work, Ethnic Fertility Behavior and Internal Migration in Nigeria. This is what he's saying. He's saying that 75% migration to Yorubaland is an existential threat to our race. It's so beautiful that the research says that Yorubaland was the destination of choice for 75% of Igbo migrants. All the Igbo they interview who are living in Igbo land, they ask them, for every 100 of them, 75% says they are going to Yorubaland. They interview Hausa Fulani too. For every 100 Hausa Fulani living Hausa Fulani land, in this survey, 82 of them are heading to Yorubaland. 82. For this Hausa Fulani that they interviewed, only 18.4% are going to Igbo land. For the Igbo, which I've seen the record, the one for 75% is that the one that I said earlier, that those who they interview, that if you are to leave Yorubaland, that was the question they asked them, the Igbo. If you were to leave Yorubaland, where will you go in Nigeria? 75% of them says Yorubaland. But in the research now went further and says 84.2% of Igbo migrants live in Yorubaland. Only 15.8% of Igbo migrants live in Hausa Fulani land. There are more. They ask Yoruba too. Any Yoruba who wants to move out of Yoruba land, where will you go to? Majority of them says they will go to Hausa Fulani land. Less than 10% says they will go to Igbo land. But in totality from this research work, all the people that are living their region are coming to Yorubaland. 75% of internal migrants among the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria are domiciled in Yorubaland. This is dangerous for our civilization. This is dangerous for our development. We will soon be overrun by immigrants. We of this generation, we must not allow Yorubaland to be turned into the United States of America. We must not. Because if we allow Yorubaland to be turned into the United States of America, not in terms of development, but in terms of the demographic factors, the population, that means that 99.9% of the Yoruba pure blood will be killed. That was what happened to Native Americans. The English, the French, the German, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the Italians, and the Belgians, they left their respective homeland in Europe, traveled to America. When they got to America, they exterminated the Native Americans. 99.9% of the Native Americans were killed so that Europeans would take their land. Today, if you look at the American population, less than 1% of the US population is actually Native Americans, the real owner of that land. If our generation will not address the mass migration of the Igbo and Fulani into Yorubaland, Yorubaland will be turned into America. That means 99.9% pure Yoruba blood will be killed. That is what it means. It means that if we allow the continuous mass migration of the Igbo and Fulani into our space, the control of political power, social and economic resources will be in the hands of foreigners. That is why Buhari and Fulani are grooming Aregbesola, who is not a Yoruba man, to be president of Nigeria from 2023. This is all to destroy Yorubaland. So today, if President Trump wins, the interests of white Americans will still be protected. If peradventure Joe Biden, who perpetrated this rigging, wins, the interests of the white will still be protected in America. These two men will never allow their descendant to be minority in America. If Tinubu wins in 2023, there will be a stop to the mass migration of Igbo and Hausa Fulani into Yoruba. If Tinubu wins, there will be a return back to regional government. If Tinubu wins, there will be decentralized democracy, meaning that Yoruba will control their own police. Our police officers will no longer be Igbo and Hausa Fulani. They will be pure Yoruba blood. Our military bases will no longer be under the command and control of the Hausa Fulani or the Igbo, but under the command and control of the Yoruba people. If Tinubu wins, is the only guy that can safeguard the interests and welfare of the Yoruba nation. That is why Buhari is supporting Aregbesola. You will read the story of Aregbesola tonight. That is why they are always, the Igbo and Fulani, they are always undermining the greatness of the Yoruba nation using half Yoruba. That is it. Who brought down Awolowo? Half Yoruba. One of them is Fani Power, who was the father of Femi Fani-Kayode, is half Fulani, half Igbo. You remember Abimbola Davis? That name sounds Yoruba, right? But he's not a Yoruba man. He is not. He was the one who went to court with Untold Nzeribe and Igbo to say that Abiola should not be president, to say that his election be annulled. He was the one running 1 million man march for Abacha with Nnamdi, another Nnamdi as well. Not Nnamdi Kanu, another Nnamdi, maybe Kalu or something. Abimbola Davis. These are half Yoruba. These are the people Fulani are always using. They use Obasanjo, half Igbo, half Yoruba. Buhari, he contested for election about 3 times. He was using half Yoruba. Tunde Diagbon was a Fulani guy, but he was bearing Yoruba name. Tunde Bakare is a Fulani guy, bearing Yoruba name. They want to destroy us. That is why they have deep-seated hatred for Tinubu, because every pure Yoruba blood will safeguard and protect the interests of the Yoruba nation. Now, you've seen the view from America in respect of the change in population. But regardless of that research, if Trump wins second time, he will still protect the interests of white, first and foremost. If Joe Biden is declared the winner, he will still protect the interests of white Americans, first and foremost. So their own life is secure. But ours in Yorubaland, we are in clear danger. If we don't get the presidency in 2023, in the next 10 years, Igbo and Hausa Fulani will take over our space. They will continue to kill the best of our brains. The way they did Awolowo, they did Abiola, they are trying to do the same thing to Tinubu. That's why they are coming out to use people who are non-Yoruba, protecting or projecting themselves as Yoruba, but they are not Yoruba people. Now, last week, many of you may have ignored this reality that was coming from France. I don't think you know this, but we will tell you. I've asked some OIF member to release this research work of Yemi Adewoyin on internal migration. You need to read that, folks. You need to read it. But I sent it to my girlfriend today. She was like, oh, it's too long to read. And I said, don't worry, if you watch my video, I'm going to summarize it. I'm going to summarize it for you so you can see. But something happened last week in France. The president of France, you know him, Emmanuel Macron. You know, he went into that presidential position against that conservative lady. But every of the policy of the conservative lady is what Emmanuel Macron is working on. Last week, he says something, and I'm going to quote him. He said, for every European country demographically disappearing, in the same period, one African country appears. For those of you who may not get that simple quote, what the president of France is saying is that people from African country are trooping down to France to take their land. Not only France, but across European country. He rejected this. Land is the most important resources God Almighty has given to us human beings. He rejected it. Let me repeat that quote for you again so you get it. For every European demographically disappearing, in the same period, one African country appears. This is a clear statement that they will control immigration the more. So many of us who are pure Yoruba blood, not like Obasanjo, who is not pure Yoruba blood, not people like Tunde Bakare, not people like Akeredolu, the governor of Ondo State, not people like Seyi Makinde, not these people, not somebody like Ganiyu Adamu, who call himself Gani Adams, a no-pay citizen, not someone like Aregbesola, who is an Ibira man. And these guys are not even proud to say to the world that we are not Yoruba. They are not proud because they want to destroy you, pure Yoruba blood. Look at this, I give you a scenario. Seyi Makinde's mother is not a Yoruba man. It's not a Yoruba woman. Seyi Makinde, the governor of Oyo State. His mother is not a Yoruba woman. His wife is an Ijaw woman. How do you expect that man to protect and safeguard the interest and welfare of the Yoruba nation as governor of Oyo State? We made a terrible mistake electing that guy. Akeredolu's mother is an Ijaw woman. Akeredolu married an Igbo. How do you want Akeredolu to protect the interests of the Yoruba nation? Do you see the Yoruba Libra condemning these two non-Yoruba? Do you see the Yoruba Libra condemning them? Do you see the Igbo condemning them? No, but they are attacking pure Yoruba blood, Tinubu. Look, let me be frank with you. Let me be frank with you. If you are a half Yoruba, you will have divided loyalty. You won't be trusted. Look at what the British people and British press did to Prince William's or Prince Harry's wife. Because she's half Caucasian, half black, they chased her out of England. She first ran to Canada to live there. Then they wouldn't allow her to live there. She then moved to America. The British press don't like her because she's half white, half black. And they don't like Prince Harry marrying her. Look, everywhere you go in the world, it is the right of the people to safeguard and protect their interests. They feel that if this lady should be allowed to mingle with the royal family, some white will want to take black as partners, which would damage their nation. They don't want it. It is true. Half Yoruba have divided loyalty. That was why Akeredolu, a sitting governor of Ondo State, whose benefactor is Tinubu, Nnamdi Kanu released an audio. The audio will be submitted to the judge is not part of our defense in court. I have to tell you, because we're going to call for the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu anyway. I'm going to say to the judge in court in January that he's a terrorist. He should be arrested, but it's not in England. It's in Singapore. You understand what we're saying? Akeredolu, a half Yoruba, half Ijaw, married to an Igbo woman, is benefactor Tinubu. Tinubu's property was destroyed by Igbo in Lagos on the instruction of Nnamdi Kanu. But the stupid Akeredolu governor, he couldn't respond to Nnamdi Kanu audio where he called for the killing of Tinubu, for the killing of Governor Sanwo-Olu, for the destruction of Tinubu's business interests across Lagos. This stupid governor from Ondo State, he didn't say anything. We issue an ultimatum asking Igbo to leave Yorubaland. The idiot Akeredolu rushed in front of the press, talking down at my person. He has divided loyalty. We made a terrible mistake as Yoruba people to allow people who are not Yoruba to be in charge of our governance. We have done a research as YYF. We tracked the election in Igbo land from 1954. Like I said yesterday, election started in Yorubaland in 1923. We tracked the election that started in Igbo land in 1954 up to 2019. You can never see one half Igbo as governor. You can't. Their governors are full-blooded Igbo. We have done the same thing. Election started in Hausa land in 1959. We have tracked the election from 1959. There has never been one half Fulani as governor. But in Yorubaland, you see ridiculous, useless people. Benga Daniel, half Yoruba, he was governor. He was not even Yoruba because his father is from Isoko. Ganiyu Adamu is lying to people, bullshitting people that is Yoruba. That's why he's against Tinubu. Because it's not a Yoruba soul. It's a Nupe man, which you're going to find out more. But let us look more about this thing that happened in France last week. Their president said that they won't accept it. That as their people are disappearing in their homeland in Europe, African people are taking over their space. They want to stop it. So he went on to say, and I quote him, he said, we are witnessing a kind of acceleration in the twist of history. He now went on, he said, there must be a radical revision of global social and economic system. They can't accept it any longer. Why do you think, and this is something I'm going to raise in court during my trial. Like on Thursday, the police came to court and said to the judge that the judge to stop me from speaking. The judge said, why will I stop him? They said they couldn't provide any reason. They said, oh, he issued a statement recently. It was watched by 50 million people and blah, blah, blah. And I said to the judge, look, a useless man calling Nnamdi Kanu threatened the political leader of the Yoruba nation. Our governor was shit idiot. They did nothing. We made a statement. We gave them an ultimatum. We stand. It was my response. The judge said to the Crown prosecution lawyer, if you want to stop him, go to the Attorney General and get that request. Look at this English police, idiot they are. I know they're trying to kill me, but they can't kill me, believe you me. They can't get us. They can't get us. In their own country, they deny Yoruba visa. They deny us to regularize our state. But we're asking Igbo to leave our space. They are showing concern. They are not showing concern for the Igbo or the minority Fulani. They are showing concern because we call them out that the suppression and subjugation of the Yoruba nation is as a result of the English establishment who are supporting minority Fulani to be in power. In their own United Kingdom, the minority are the Northern Irish, the minority are the Scottish, the minority are the Welsh, but they won't allow them to be prime minister. Only English can be prime minister. Is that not the right thing to do? It is the right thing to do because the English are the majority. In Nigeria, we Yoruba, we are the majority. We should be the president of Nigeria. We should be ruling, not minority Fulani. You can see that game of the irresponsible English police trying to stop us from speaking the truth. from protecting our interests, from protecting our land. They are not trying to fight for Igbo or fight for Fulani. They are protecting the English establishment, who are the criminals stealing and suppressing the Yoruba people. That's what they're doing. So you see what the French president is saying. He's saying that because white people are disappearing in their indigenous home and they are being replaced by black people, he's advocating for a radical, when you use the word radical, it's even worse than organized violence. Is advocating for a radical revision of the global social and economic system. You know what that means, folks? French president said that we must jettison the Washington consensus. The Washington consensus is a globalist agenda. He said that consensus is outdated and that nations must embrace new economy, political and social models in order to overcome crisis. Do you know what he's saying? If you're so brilliant, you will know that this guy is talking about regional government. That's what he's saying invariably. If you're so brilliant in your mind, you know this. He's saying that we have to jettison the Washington consensus, which is globalist agenda, that everybody is one and the same. We're not one and the same. God Almighty has given us our respective homeland. That is where we belong. So the president of France is now saying that we must embrace new economy, political, and social models in order to overcome crisis. If Nigeria must grow, we must end the unitary system. The unitary system that makes Hausa Fulani to control the police in Yorubaland, to control the military in Yorubaland, to control the custom in Yorubaland, to control immigration in Yorubaland, to control waterways in Yorubaland, to control seaport in Yorubaland, to control airport in Yorubaland, to control taxes generated in Yorubaland, to control the political economy in Yorubaland when they are not Yoruba. In their own space, they still control everything. This is an outdated model which the French president is talking about. We must go back to regional government or we break up Nigeria peacefully. If we go back to regional government, it means that I will not live the miserable life that I'm living in England, where the stupid police, the Metropolitan Police, arrest me like a common criminal every time. I will be in Yorubaland if we're practicing regional government. I will be able to attain my full human potential, unlike sitting around in London, doing absolutely nothing with my life, just wasting my brain away. I could sleep today, tomorrow, the foolish, irresponsible police could be at my doorstep saying that they are arresting me because I'm talking on social media. Idiots. This will not happen to me if we go back to regional government and I live in my homeland, where the police are Yoruba, the military men are Yoruba, the custom officials are Yoruba, the immigration officials are Yoruba, the prison officers are Yoruba, those who are in charge of our taxes are Yoruba, those who control our waterways are Yoruba, those who control everything are Yoruba. This is the new economic model, social and political model that the president of France is advocating. He's saying that the Washington consensus is outdated. The globalist agenda is no longer working. Igbo should stay home, build Igbo land. Hausa Fulani should stay home, make your stupid place great. Stop coming over to Yorubaland. And I say this, and I say this very well. The English establishment that are supporting you, minority Fulani, believe you me, they will fail this time around. This generation is different. I still do believe that ordinary, useless BBC News Yoruba that every one of you are listening to, they can do propaganda on young Yoruba that are useless, and you go and kill your leaders. Yet, BBC News Yoruba is working for the English establishment. But all of you continue to circulate their videos every now and then. We're going to shut that place down. Look, I'm a Yoruba citizen, pure blood. I don't have rights or privileges here in England. The police have no respect for me. The Crown prosecution have no respect for my human right. They have no respect for my freedom of expression. That is why their lawyer will come in front of a judge, a lawyer. You want to stop me from speaking on social media? You should go to the Attorney General. How can you take my freedom away from me because I live in your country? There are English who lives in Yoruba and they will face the same challenges. That is how diplomacy should be. Tit for tat, reciprocity, useless police who frustrating a father, denying me from seeing my children because I live in their country. Your own citizen will be so treated in our own space. And I said something, it is completely wrong for us Yoruba, well educated, with master's degree, bachelor of science degree, PhD, we are addressed as immigrants in England, in France, in Germany, in North America. But when these people come into our own country with secondary school certificate, we don't call them immigrant, we call them expatriate. Does that make sense? We call them expatriate because shit, useless minority Fulani are in power. So they get dictated to by the English establishment. So you see, the Washington consensus is over. That is what the French are advocating, saying that they can no longer accept for their homeland to be taken over by black people. They are telling you black people, stay in your respective homeland, make it great. So the French president is saying that the unitary system is an outdated model. He might not have used the word unitary system. If you're intelligent enough, you know what he's saying. He's saying that there must be a new economic, political, and social model in order to overcome crisis. We can no longer be asking Buhari to generate electricity for us in Yorubaland, to give us good education in Yorubaland, to give us road in Yorubaland, to give us electricity in Yorubaland, to give us job in Yorubaland. No, it is ridiculous. Nigeria is a multinational country. The nations that made up the Union of Nigeria must govern themselves. This is something the Hausa Fulani don't like. This is something the Igbo don't like. There will be war. You cannot escape organized violence. That is why it is very important for the Yoruba youth to know one thing. You don't hate everybody. Because of slavery and colonialism, everyone with white skin, you started hating them. I told you, America never colonized Yorubaland. You can never provide one single shred of evidence that America colonized us. We were colonized by the English, French, and the Germans. And as of today, we have embraced the friendship with the French and the Germans, except the irresponsible English establishment that are supporting minority Fulani. They will be destroyed and they will be shamed in our own space. We're going to destroy their business interests. We will rather do business with France, with Germany, than do business with English. But our stupid APC Yoruba governors, like the one in Ogun State, is still signing contract with English companies when you should have gone to Israeli company or American company, English that do not like us. You are still giving them businesses. People who are supporting minority flag. Now, I'm going to further quote the French president. He said, over-concentrated of power is no longer capable of handling the inequality in our society and internationally. Everyone is now rejecting globalist agenda. I am very fearful of the coming of the Democratic Party. I just hope that President Trump would do some magic and retain the presidency of America. This Democratic, with what we experienced of them in 1960s, when they were in power, Awolowo was in jail. In 1990s, when they were in power, MK Abiola was assassinated. I have my fear for Tinubu if Joe Biden should win. We will be there to continue to protect the interests of the Yoruba nation, but we hope and pray that God, in his infinite mercy, will give wisdom and understanding to President Trump's legal team to win this for the conservative throughout the world. So you can see what the president of France is saying. Just a few days ago, he said all of these things that I'm telling you. He said, over-concentrated of power is no longer capable of handling the inequalities in our society and internationally. We can only respond to it by reforging it. How can you have the president of Nigeria in charge of railway? You Yoruba as a nation, you can't build your own railway within your own region. How can we have the president of Nigeria in charge of education? Then you are having ASU strike. ASU is striking in Yorubaland. They are striking in Igboland. They are striking in Hausaland. They are striking in Kanuriland. They are striking. They are on strike in Middle Belt. Why? How can you concentrate such power in the hand of the federal government? Why is it so difficult for Hausa, Fulani, and Igbo to accept the decentralization of the police? This is why young Yoruba should understand one thing. You are a Yoruba man. You are living in Yorubaland. They gave you the opportunity to control your home police. You will embrace it with your two hands. But tell the Igbo that you control your home police in Igboland. They will reject it. Tell the Hausa Fulani, control your home police in Hausa Fulani. They will reject it. They will tell you, we are one Nigeria. The police must be one. It is because they want to destroy you, Yoruba. That's why they are saying everything must be concentrated in the hand of one man. That's what the president of France is saying. Over-concentrated of power is no longer capable of handling the inequality in our society. Federal government can no longer control education. Decentralize this to the region. If we have decentralized educational system, if ASU is striking in Igboland, ASU will not be striking in Yoruba because the education has been decentralized and in the hand of the regions. If we decentralize police, we will not be protesting HENSAS in Yorubaland, HENSAS in Igboland, HENSAS in the Middle Belt. It will not happen. If we decentralize the police, perhaps the Igbo police will be killing Igbo citizens and they will be doing their answers there. Nothing to do with the Yoruba nation because the police has now been decentralized. Look at the brutality of the military in Nigeria. It is because the military is centralized in the hands of the president. We have Benin Republic, Niger Republic, Chad Republic, Cameroon Republic. These are our neighbors. Our military have never gone to war with any one of them. But all this horrible military in Nigeria, it's actually English military under the command and control of the Fulani. It is the English that are controlling the military. This military are the people who just shot and killed people in Lagos, Lekki Tollgate. But tell them to go and confront small Benin Republic, they will be shaking. Ordinary Boko Haram, they cannot. This is why we said to you, we don't believe in street protests without weapons. The military in Nigeria is controlled by the Fulani under the command and control of the English. Do you see the military in Nigeria killing Hausa Fulani people? No. So we're saying, let us decentralize the military. So all the military bases in Yoruba will be under the Yoruba Regimental Armed Forces or Yoruba National Guard. You think that if I'm in charge of the military, I'll be killing Yoruba citizens? No. But who are the people killing people in Lekki? Igbo and Hausa Fulani shooting you because you are not one and the same. So it is gratifying that the people are now seeing it coming from the president of France saying that over-concentrated of power is no longer capable of handling the inequality in our societies. And internationally, he said it. He said we can only respond to it by reforging it. That means restructuring. You can call it whatever you want to call it, restructuring. But one thing I know is this: Fulani, they don't want to give up power. Now it's so obvious. Now they believe that there is a zoning. I don't believe in zoning. Why we do not believe in zoning? Yoruba youth, we don't believe in zoning. We've been saying to you, we Yoruba, we are the majority in Nigeria. We must rule over Igbo, Hausa, Fulani, and everyone. The same way the Caucasian are ruling in America, the same way the English is ruling in the United Kingdom. We must do the same thing in Nigeria because we're the majority. I don't understand why the English establishment continue to hold on to their support for the minority Fulani. I don't think you guys get what they are doing to me. I've never been afraid to speak the truth. And I've been very fortunate, in spite of the fact that I dislike the police in England because they've arrested me 10 times. Now it's been 10 times. I don't like them. Believe you me, every time I go to their court, believe you me, I always get justice. They just have, their justice system is superb. the lawyer will, or the judge rather, will always give me the opportunity to say, you can see some of my YYF members and our donors who went to the court with me on Thursday. I think 5 of them. I was raising my hand to the judge when the lawyer for the state was lying. I was raising my hand and the judge always listened to me. It is gratifying. The only 2 things that I love in England, the NHS that saves my son and their justice system is very good. But their police, they are horrible, shit people. They are. They don't like me. I don't fucking like them. They are terrible. They are watching us right now. Believe me, they are watching me. And that is a job for maybe about 5 people. Where I'm speaking Yoruba, they don't understand it. They would go and call a Yoruba guy, but that guy is going to earn some money. They will call a Yoruba guy to transcribe what I'm saying. If I want to make them spend more money, I speak more Yoruba, because they now consider me as somebody they just need to sit in front of computers, zipping tea and eating biscuits and saying that they are doing their job. They just hate me because of my ethnicity and my race. Simple. This is what we're going to say in court. And this is what we've been saying. We challenge Boris Johnson to allow Nigeria to break up. 70% of the Yoruba in England will return home under 1 year of Oduduwa Republic. We have the wealth. The English are stealing our wealth in what is called neocolonialism. So you can see what the French president has said. And I want to say this. The Yoruba nation must remember the law of history. Look at how our obas were shaking when the Olowo was attacked. And I keep saying about this. When everything was peaceful, when he was enjoying life, he was destroying Yorubaland, the Oba of Lagos, by saying that Lagos belonged to Edo people. That was a bullshit lie. A total nonsense. That was not reality. But when he was attacked, why didn't he call his Edo people to come and save him? He now stood beside Alaafin Oni and the rest of them, like a child who has wet his pants. Before, he was grandstanding all over the place, talking shit. People went to his house, almost killed him. And this is one thing I'm going to address the Oni of Ife too. It is our generation. You're a very young king. And you'll be saying to people, even to us, why, that you respect what we do, you support us. But you can't come publicly to support YYF. Or you can't come publicly to raise issue with me. Why is it that brilliant minds will have to resort to calling organized violence? Why? You should do that publicly, not privately. But you don't do anything now. You continue to undermine the civilization of the Yoruba nation. All these young Yoruba that you see, who are prostitutes, doing olosho, doing yahoo yahoo, hungry, who have no future. Majority of us who are abroad, miserable, living shit life. BBC News Yoruba, the English will do propaganda on this youth, Yoruba, you to go out to come and kill you, and you will be killed. Your palace will be burned down. If you think this is a lie, go and read what happened in 1969. 1969, Ojinona. What happened to Sean of Ogbomosho? They killed him, they cut his head off. A king. Why? For what purpose? For what reason? Because of the increase in taxation. They cut his head off. It's there, the records are there. It's just that many of us don't read. So stop saying you don't want to associate with me publicly. No, I am your subject. And I'm leading the young Yoruba for freedom, speaking for 29.9 million Yoruba youth. We're calling for organized violence because for far too long, generation before us have been calling for a return to regional government. The Fulani and the Igbo continue to undermine this. And we're now calling for organized violence. Speak to us publicly before we come to your palace and destroy it. That is the fact. It was a rude shot. You can see the statement coming from Tinubu, now pleading with the youth. The same youth can be galvanized, can be brainwashed, can be bamboozled to come to Oni Palace and burn it down. So it is now that you must speak publicly about the challenges that is facing Yoruba nation. It is now. So we must remind the Yoruba nation to remember the law of history. History, reality, and logic dictate that if you allow unregulated mass migration of foreigner into your space, your civilization will be eroded in your lifetime. We must remind these others. We must remind you the law of history. That's a law. You can call it law of history, law of nature. It is. History, reality, and logic dictate that if you allow unregulated mass migration of foreigner into your space, your civilization will be eroded in your lifetime. Already, 75% of Lagos is in the hand of the Igbo. They were able to mobilize themselves and wreak carnage and havoc across Lagos, even hunting down our political leaders, going into the palaces of our natural leaders. Yet, Yoruba continue to put their head in the sand. France used to be a monarchical system of government with kings and queens. One day, the subject had enough and killed them all. You think that cannot happen to Oni of Ife? You think that will not happen to Alaafin? If you continue to allow the growing poverty across Yorubaland as a result of the unitary system, without talking to people who are now the voices of the Yoruba nation. I am not making a joke. Do you know how the police will come to court and be fearful in front of judge, saying to them that I should not be allowed to speak? Because they know that I'm well read. They know that I'm knowledgeable. They know that I speak the truth. They want to stop all of this. But our generation is not the same thing like our parent generation. And the Yoruba Obas, you need to be fearful. You don't speak up now, you shall be consumed in the organized violence that is coming. You realize what is going on. Awolowo wanted to rule Nigeria, they used the half Yoruba to destroy it. Abiola wanted to rule Nigeria. As a matter of fact, he won an election, they used half Yoruba to destroy it. It is the turn of Tinubu, who helped this useless man called Buhari twice, after he had contested for election 3 times and lost. Now today, Buhari is grooming Aregbesola, a half Yoruba, to be president of Nigeria. And Yoruba of us, you are folding your hands. Your civilization is being eroded in your lifetime. Now we'll say this to them. Our generation is getting exhausted. I don't think you've seen a Yoruba citizen who has ever been arrested 10 times by the police in England. I'm not English. I respect the justice system in England. It gives you the opportunity to defend yourself. I was arrested for terrorism, yet I don't do terrorism. Our movement is not a terrorist organization. My lawyer, a very brilliant lady, she argued my case that look at his books, look at his articles. These are academic based and politically motivated. These are intelligent minds. I'm not Ganiyu Adamu. I'm not Nnamdi Kanu. I'm not them. I was well groomed by my parent, a prince for that matter, but I'm not very proud to call myself a prince because there's too many others across Yorubaland that are completely useless. We went to the best school. We have the best mind, but we are being suppressed and subjugated by minority Fulani supported by the English. Yet you don't understand simple logic that you need America to get things done. And our Obas don't understand that there is need to address the problem being caused across Yorubaland by people who are not Yoruba, who are disguising as Yoruba. It's a grave mistake on the part of Alaafin to make Ganiyu Adamu the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yorubaland, when he's not a Yoruba citizen. I believe he's going to be removed. Kokoro Gongon was removed as Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò also, I've been told. So we're going to remove him. When he was an ordinary man, he worked for Jonathan, and a just citizen. He bowed down for Jonathan and he joined citizen. When he became Are Ona Kakanfo, he worked for Atiku Abubakar. He bowed down for him, a Fulani man. He assumed the position of Are Ona Kakanfo. We no longer recognize that position with him anymore. Yet he continued to undermine, disparage Tinubu, the Yoruba national leader. If Ganiyu Adamu should go to Nupe, where he's from now, nobody will recognize him. He will amount to nothing. If Aregbesola should go to Yorubaland, where he is from, he cannot be local government chairman. But all of these people, they are so successful in Yorubaland, and the only thing they want to use to pay us back is to undermine our greatness. We put this blame of Ganiyu Adamu as the Are Ona Kakanfo at the doorstep of Alaafin. It's a disgrace. If you cannot do simple background check on somebody, he has a divided loyalty. That's why it's all about money, money, money. It doesn't think beyond money. If we have put a full-blooded Yoruba citizen as the Are Ona Kakanfo, perhaps with military background from America, he would have given us our own version of CIA today, which we have already. But I've been told not to disclose it. It is not coming from YF. It is not coming from anybody. It's led by a half Yoruba, half Israeli. But Yoruba that are half Igbo or half Fulani, they always want to ruin Yoruba. But other Yoruba who are half Yoruba, maybe from Caucasian, maybe from English, maybe from Israeli, maybe from Brazil, they are always for the interest of the Yoruba, except horrible Yoruba who are married to Igbo and Fulani. If we have had such an individual, we will have had our own version of CIA or MI5 or KBG or GCSQ. Things will have been sophisticated. But Ganiyu Adamu doesn't have such a sophistication. The only thing he does is money. Why do you think it was easy for Aregbesola, who could not be anything without Tinubu, to be easily swayed by Buhari Fulani? Why? It's because he's an Ibira man. His father is Yusuf Ali, which you're going to get to see. So like I said, our generation is getting exhausted with the way and manner the non-Yoruba and half Yoruba wish to destroy Yorubaland. 75% of the population in Lagos is Igbo. They have been contesting for election across Yorubaland since 1945. But the Yoruba people do not mass migrate to Igbo land or contest for political office in Igbo land. Since 1960, the minority Fulani has been expanding into Yorubaland, dominating the Yoruba people in our own space. Go to that place called Muritala Mohammed. The original name is Lagos International Airport. Go there, our port of entry. Anyone coming into Yorubaland, that is the place that they will get in through. Go there. There's Hausa Fulani who are working in that airport. I have no job. I have not been working since August 2019. That is a fact. But I live miserable life in England. I have the brain to be the managing director of that international airport. But it is the Fulani that you see there. Go to all our 11 custom commands across Yorubaland. It is Igbo and Fulani that you see there. Yet Yoruba are washing toilet abroad. They are doing care job abroad. They are doing Olosho at home, doing Yahoo Yahoo. Go to our prison. Go to EFCC in Yorubaland. Go to their offices in Yorubaland. EFCC offices in Yorubaland. It's Hausa Fulani that you see there when we don't have jobs. All of these offices that I've mentioned are in Hausa Fulani land too. It is still their own children that you see working there, not Yoruba people. We can't go on like this. Fulani have taken over our space. The Igbo and the Fulani are doing everything to turn Yorubaland, our indigenous homeland, into the land of the immigrant, just as the United States. The United States is the land of the immigrant. And let me bring your mind to one observation about America. You know, you can go to live in France, but you can never become a Frenchman. If you're a Yoruba man, you are living in France, are you going to be called a Frenchman? No. You can go to live in Germany. You can never become a German. You will never be. You can come to live in England. You will never become an Englishman. Only English will be English because that is their indigenous homeland. You can go to live in Japan, but you can never become a Japanese. You can go to live in China, but you can never become a Chinese. But you see something about America. Anyone from any corner of the earth can go to live in America and become an American. Why? You go to France, even if you carry French passport, you can never be a Frenchman. Why? Because France is not the land of the immigrant. It is the land of the indigenous French people. If you go to England and even have British passports, you can never become an Englishman because England belongs to its indigenous people. You go to Japan, you can never become a Japanese because that land belongs to the indigenous people of Japan who are Japanese. It's the same thing China, but why is it a different ballgame in America? That if you go to live in America, you will become an American because American is the land of the immigrant, the original owner of America. The people that God Almighty created in America were killed and exterminated by immigrants. So what the Igbo and the Fulani are trying to do is to turn Yorubaland into America, the land of the immigrant. If that is the case, then all the pure Yoruba blood shall be killed. And I don't think our generation will want that. I'm a pure Yoruba citizen with pure Yoruba blood. Yorubaland is not America and will not be allowed to be taken over by foreigners who are the Igbo and the Fulani. That is what they plan to do. Yorubaland is the compact with our parents, our grandparents, and our ancestors. It is our ancestors who give us our great and special place in the world. We will not allow non-Yoruba and half-Yoruba to destroy our special place in the world. Yorubaland is the compact with our parents. We did not inherit Yorubaland from our ancestors. We borrowed it from our children. And before we die, we must return back Yorubaland to our children. We will not allow Igbo and Fulani to take over Yorubaland from us. They want to take Yorubaland from us. That is why they are using half Yoruba to always undermine us. Now let me say this to the Yoruba who are watching us all over the world. There is a notion, and the notion is very wrong and it's misleading. There is this notion that says that Yoruba people always antagonize each other. The Yoruba people do not support each other. You see, I have changed that misconception from my parents. Every time that I go to court, there will always be at least 5 Yoruba people with me. They are funding me, ordinary Yoruba citizen. Whenever I say this to my parents, particularly my mom, she's always crying. She says she doesn't believe that I will ever have the support of the Yoruba people because of what I do. Because I'm fighting for Yoruba, that anyone who is fighting for the interests of Yoruba, the Yoruba always reject them. The old Yoruba always undermine them. The Yoruba always look for their downfall. And I said to my mom, things are changing. She's always praying for people that are making donations for our public cause of action, for our legal fee, for my upkeep, and those who are always coming to support me. And I have a good news for you. Last Thursday when we went to court, my lawyer said to the judge that please, we will need more time because the defendant, referring to me, has 27 witnesses. People are coming all over the world to support us, to be witnesses. People are coming from Canada, people are coming from America, people are coming from all across European countries, Germany, France, Ireland. Many people are coming from England. So many people are coming from Nigeria to be witness in my trial because I've been charged for racial hatred, which I do not do. I'm a politician. I speak to the consciousness of the young Yoruba to take Yorubaland back and take it out of Nigeria. And the Crown prosecution lawyer was shocked that 27 people want to come to court. Before, it would have been a different game. Before, Yoruba would have been so scared. Run away, go and hide their head. Hey, I don't want them to see me. Even we had a problem with people telling me, I'm sorry, I don't want to make donation because I don't want them to track my name. Are we terrorists? If we're terrorists, we will not be exposing our face. If we're terrorists, we will not be living among the people. If we're terrorists, you won't see us. We'll be underground. So they've conditioned the minds of Yoruba not to be able to fight for their own rights, for their liberty and freedom. But we're changing that. We're already changing the course of history. So for me to have 27 people say that they want to be witness, it's a great honor. It shows that, look, we are already changing the course of history and we will achieve our aim. 2023, I'm going to retire. I'm going to go to Yorubaland and I'm going to work for the interest of Yorubaland. And we pray and hope that Tinubu will be the president there. I can't come to Yorubaland now because I'll be in prison. Fulani minority supported by the English would like to kill me. So it is a wrong notion, folks, that Yoruba don't help themselves, that Yoruba are always antagonizing themselves. Yoruba don't like themselves. Yoruba does this and that to themselves. It is wrong. The Yoruba that are always antagonizing Yoruba are not Yoruba. Ganiyu Adamu is not a Yoruba citizen. He's from Nupe. That's why you see him talking shit about Tinubu. Aregbesola is not a Yoruba citizen. That is why he's obnubbing with the Fulani to undermine Tinubu. Obasanjo is not a Yoruba man. He's just pretending to be Yoruba. He's an Igbo man. That is why all his life, he supported Fulani to be president. In 1979, he supported Shehu Shagari to be president. In 1993, he said Abiola is not our Messiah. He supported Tofa. In 2007, he brought out Yaradua. In 2015, he supported, before 2015, in 2011, he wanted Sule Lamido to be the candidate of the PDP. Because of that, he didn't support Jonathan. In 2015, he supported Buhari. In 2019, he supported Atiku or Fulani. Why? Have you ever seen an English that will have such a deep hatred for England? No. Have you ever seen a Caucasian man that will have deep-seated hatred for white Americans? No. How come Obasanjo doesn't love Yoruba? Because he's not a Yoruba man, he's an Igbo man. So disregard the notion that the Yoruba always antagonizes each other. We do not. People that you think that are Yoruba, destroying the other Yoruba are actually non-Yoruba people. When Gadania, the former governor of Ogun State, he wasn't a Yoruba man, but he became governor. He's an Isoko man. Mimiko, Olusegun Mimiko, he's not a Yoruba man. He ended up becoming governor in Ondo State. Akeredolu is half Yoruba, so you expected him to talk the shit that he was done. He doesn't like Tinubu. He's working for Aregbesola. We're still working more on Fayemi because Fayemi is working for Aregbesola too. Fayemi does not wish to become president of Nigeria. Fayemi knows that the candidate of the Fulani and the candidate of Buhari is Aregbesola, so it's clearing the ground for Aregbesola when they do delegate conference to select the presidential candidate, maybe in 2022. They will then shock Tinubu. That was the reason why they removed Oshiomhole. Fayemi is not going anywhere. The candidate of the Fulani is Aregbesola because he's an Ibira man. Let me quickly teach you the destruction of the Yoruba nation. Now I'm going to use this stupid boy, David Adeleke. I'm going to use his family history to show you the damage that the half Yoruba people are bringing to the Yoruba nation. So I'm saying to you, reject now, reject that notion that the Yoruba are evil to each other. No, all of those people that you see with the Yoruba name, who are evil against Tinubu, attacking Tinubu, they are not Yoruba. Is it Ayo Adebanjo that is a Yoruba man? That 94 years old man is not a full-blooded Yoruba. Yinka Odumaki is married to an Igbo woman. That is what they do. They are not Yoruba people. Reject that. Now let me show you how Davido's family is a good example of how the half Yoruba are destroying our life. Now let us look at generation 1. Davido's grandfather, his name was Adebayo Adeleke, a full-blooded Yoruba citizen. He married an Igbo woman and they had a son called Adedeji Adeleke. Adedeji Adeleke is Davido's father. Adedeji Adeleke is half Yoruba, half Igbo. He has 50% Yoruba blood combined with 50% Igbo blood. Is half Yoruba. When Adedeji Adeleke married his wife, he married an Igbo woman, a full-blooded Igbo woman. Adedeji Adeleke, who is Davido's father, has 50% Igbo blood. Davido's mother is full-blooded Igbo. She has 100% Igbo blood. When you have 50 plus 100, that gives it 150. That's 75% Igbo blood in Davido's. So he only has 25% Yoruba blood. David Adeleke, the guy you call Davido, he is more Igbo than Yoruba. Forget the surname of Adeleke. He has 75% Igbo blood in him. Look at his circle of friends. They are predominantly Igbo. It is in his blood. That was why he was used by the Igbo for the Hensas to destroy Yorubaland, particularly Lagos. Davido should not be described as a Yoruba citizen. Davido is 75% Igbo. He only has 25% Igbo blood. Now you look at that. He married Chioma, a full-blooded Igbo lady. They have a son. They have named the son Ifeanyi. It is not a mistake. Davido has 75% Igbo blood. His wife, Chioma, has 100% Igbo blood. If you combine that, their son is 100% Igbo. They've given him a name, Ifeanyi. Do you think they are stupid? No. They know what they are doing. Ifeanyi Adeleke is 100% Igbo, but he has a Yoruba son. In future, he will want to contest political space, economic space, social space with my own children who are full-blooded Yoruba. So when somebody comes out and says, oh, my name is Ifeanyi Adeleke, I'm a Yoruba citizen, you just believe that. But he's 100% Igbo. It is this kind of people that will in future undermine the prospect of my own children who are full-blooded Yoruba. So it is a dangerous thing if we continue to allow mass migration of the Igbo and Hausa Fulani into our space and to continue to encourage intermarriage. As a matter of fact, it should be a policy across Yorubaland. We should not accept intermarriage because it is destroying Yorubaland. Obasanjo is half Igbo. It destroyed Yorubaland. It took everything that we built. It destroyed. In 1975, he was there. From 1975 to 1979. He was there from 1999 to 2007. He did not give us regional government. Yet, he gave Hausa Fulani Sharia law. In future, Nifai Adeleke will want to contest political space with our children who are pure Yoruba blood. But he's not Yoruba at all. His blood is 100% Igbo. He will work to undermine the greatness of the Yoruba nation. This is a serious matter. It is not a joke. That is why you see English. They frown at intermarriage with black. That is why you see Caucasian. They don't like intermarriages with black people. Because such people will have divided loyalty. Today, what you have seen in this history of Davido's family is what you see across Yorubaland. So many people that are having Yoruba surname are actually Igbo. They are actually non-Yoruba people. That's why you go on to the social media. The irresponsible action of Buhari, you will see some Yoruba blaming it on Tinubu. They said, oh, it was Tinubu who brought Fulani. The Igbo voted for Atiku Fulani. He will have done the same thing that Buhari is doing. After all, Atiku was vice president for 8 years. He was stealing money. He has ordinary diploma in food hygiene. He was working in custom in Lagos. He stole our wealth in Lagos to become wealthy. You see these Yoruba people with Yoruba surname, they don't see that as a big deal. But they want to destroy Tinubu because they are not Yoruba at all. Not 0% of their blood is Yoruba. Like Ifeanyi Adeleke, Davido's son. These are the people you see across social media. Condemning Tinubu. I keep saying to you, why was it a project for Igbo and Fulani not to allow Awolowo to be president of Nigeria? Because they know that Awolowo would change Nigeria for good. Awolowo will return Nigeria back to regional government. Why do they campaign against Abiola? Why do they annul his election? They know that Abiola will return Nigeria back to regional government. Why are they antagonizing Tinubu, saying to you that Tinubu is corrupt? Because that is the man that will give you regional government. And that is the man that is likely going to give you the Oduduwa Republic. Awolowo, Abiola, and Tinubu were pure Yoruba blood. Full-blooded Yoruba citizen. So when you see Yoruba coming out, look at that video of Ganiyu Adamu from Nupe, who styled himself as Gani Adams. That's criminal intention. You can change your name, and you should be able to tell the public why you have changed your name. Up till now, he's so ashamed, he cannot come out to say, I am not Yoruba, I'm from Nupe. They are using Yoruba name to feed. Look at that. He mentioned why because I gave an ultimatum. Do you know how many billions of naira that was paid to him by Igbo because of our ultimatum? Igbo went to him and said to him that, look, Adeyinka grandson has issued ultimatum for us to leave Yoruba. Come and help us. They gave him billions on my name, on my honor. He's not a Yoruba man. He went out condemning YYF, but he won't condemn Nnamdi Kanu, who said that Tinubu should go and be killed. You put somebody that is not a Yoruba man as your Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, and you think he's going to defend your life. You're stupid. So these are the people. Take note of these folks. All the people sitting around on social media condemning Tinubu, having Yoruba name, they are actually non-Yoruba. They are not Yoruba. They are not. So let us drop this notion that Yoruba always antagonize themselves. No, we do not. Full, pure Yoruba blood, they will stand by another full, pure Yoruba blood. It is half Yoruba or non-Yoruba that are pretending to be Yoruba who are always antagonizing the Yoruba greatness. Look at that man, the chairman of the Nigerian Port Authority. It is our ports. He belonged to the Yoruba. They gave him Akin. But this guy is an Igbo man. He's Igbo. So it is the Yoruba who are half Yoruba and non-Yoruba people disguised as Yoruba people that are the real problem of the Yoruba nation. The majority of them are attacking Tinubu. The list of this horrible half Yoruba and non-Yoruba who are disguised as Yoruba is endless. The latest addition, like we said yesterday, is Ganiyu Adamu and Raufu Aregbesola. Look, Raufu Aregbesola is an Ibira man. Gani Adam is a Nupe man. Both of them know that they are not Yoruba. Their fathers were not Yoruba. When OPC divided into New Era, Reformed OPC, and the Gani Adam version of OPC, it was Aregbesola who convinced Tinubu not to fund OPC Reform and OPC Era. The excuse was that if Tinubu should fund them, they will kill Ganiyu Adam, who called himself Gani Adams. But unknown to Tinubu, Aregbesola was acting because he's not a Yoruba man. If he's a Yoruba man, he wouldn't have stopped Tinubu from funding OPC New Era and OPC Reform. You understand? Gani Adams' real name, like I said, is Ganiyu Adamu. He's not a Yoruba man. The truth has to be told. You know, why we work with him for 2 years. We severe relationship with him because he was making spurious allegations against me. When my ex-wife made the allegation of terrorism against me, I went to him. I said, look, I want to deal with this woman. But she's made 8 allegations against me. That he should give me some of his men. That we should go and deal with her family in Nigeria. He said to me, don't worry, I'll give you money to prosecute the case in London. He said he's going to pay for my lawyer. I said, okay, fine. If you don't want me to go and deal with the family. Who will not deal with the family? I've been arrested 8 times at that time on false allegations. But every time I just ignore her because she's the mother of my children. I just ignore her. But no man would take such a serious allegation of terrorism until the CIA saved my house and the police in this country dropped that allegations. This same Ganiyu Adamu who promised me, I called him up. He said I should give him 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, he said, oh, the money is not ready. He said I should give him another 2 weeks. I called him after the 2 weeks. He said, oh, the money is not ready. I ignored him. Then the police dropped the allegation of terrorism against me. And I called him up and said, look, Mofel, I don't know what to drop allegation of terrorism. He congratulated me and we hung up after the conversation. The next day he called me, he was threatening me that if I do not back down from supporting Tinubu, he's going to undermine my security. A Nupe man telling a full, pure-blooded Yoruba citizen, a prince for that matter, that he will undermine my security in my own homeland. Oshete. Unknowing to us that this guy is not even a Yoruba citizen. Continue to condemn Tinubu every day of his life. Yet he work for Jonathan and John. He worked for Atiku, Fulani. His father's name is Lamidi, and his grandfather's name is Adamu. These were from Nupe. His grandfather has been alleged to have committed a nefarious criminal crime in Arigidi. No, not in Arigidi, in Akoko. He was then expelled. The king of Arigidi then accommodated him. He came from Nupe. Ganiyu Adamu, father, also Lamidi, came from Nupe. It's the greatest mistake from our natural leaders to have appointed him. But there's a precedent. Kokoro Gogo, as an Aregbesola, was removed from power. We will remove him because we cannot trust him. Because he has undermined a lot of the Yoruba security. So I now understand why some Yoruba APC governors do not wish to work with him. We do have problems in Yorubaland, folks. And with the appointment of non-Yoruba people into prominent position in Yorubaland, it's dangerous. But our generation will not give up. Now that we are exposing this reality to the general public, that all of these people grandstanding as Yoruba are actually not Yoruba people. Tunde Bakare called himself a pastor. I exposed him since 2014 that he's not a Yoruba man. He's a Hausa Fulani man. That the name of his father is Sani Arewa Senior. He went to Jonathan conference, condemned the Yoruba nation, yet he went to that conference on the slope of Ogun State. Because of our exposure, he went into Wikipedia to change his story, saying that he doesn't know his father. Today, he came out saying that he wants to be president of Nigeria, giving another false story about the history of his father. These guys are not Yoruba. They want to destroy our homeland. That is why they are too ashamed to come to the public and say they are not Yoruba, and he called himself a pastor. A pastor. White Americans will tell you nothing but the truth. They will tell you the history of America, that they are immigrants, that they left their respective countries in Europe to move down to America. They are proud of the truth. They speak the truth. What stopped Ganiyu Adamu from saying, yeah, folks, my name is Ganiyu Adamu, I'm from Nupe, but I'm going to protect and serve the interests of the Yoruba nation? We will know that he's not going to do it. But he will never come out to honor to it and say that he's actually from Nupe. This guy needs to speak the truth. For so many years, Obasanjo has been lying that is Yoruba, but it's not Yoruba. Aregbesola cannot be bold to come out and say, yeah, truly, I'm from Yorubaland. They will never amount to anything in their own space. Aregbesola and Yorubaman, let him go there and contest for election. He will never be voted for. But he amounted to something great in Yorubaland, yet he started working with Fulani to undermine Tinubu. Can you look at that sentiment? So those of you that are accommodating half Yoruba, believe you me, you will jeopardize the prospect of the Yoruba nation. I have a lot of half Yoruba in my family. But truth must be told. The half Yoruba are being used to undermine Yoruba nation. But let me tell you something, folks. This is politics. Fulani don't want a pure Yoruba blood as the president of Nigeria, because they know a pure Yoruba blood like Tinubu will return Nigeria back to regional government or break up the country, and they don't want that. So they want a half Yoruba. That's why they are going for Aregbesola. But let me tell you one truth. We speak nothing but the truth. If Tinubu should become president of Nigeria, Hausa will be emirs. Hausa will be Sultan of Sokoto. Hausa will be governors. Hausa will be senators. Hausa will represent the Hausa Fulani land. Hausa people. Today, what do you have? All of them are emirs, Fulani. The emirs are Fulani. The Sultan of Sokoto is Fulani. So if we have power too, the same way the Fulani and Igbo are always trying to undermine the greatness of Yoruba nation using half Yoruba, we will use Hausa people to undermine Fulani in the now. It is politics. So don't say this. Don't speak out about our secret. Sorry, why is Buhari supporting Aregbesola? Is he supporting Aregbesola in secret? Is supporting Aregbesola in the open. That was why he gave Aregbesola the Minister for Interior. As the Minister of Interior, he controls the police, he controls the military, he controls the security services, he controls all the security apparatus in Nigeria. That's a powerful position. To show Aregbesola that, look, my boy, I'm with you. So why should we pretend about what we're going to do? We need to say this how. So if we are unable to do it, our children that are listening to us will carry on. That is the same thing Fulani are doing. Fulani will say that they will not allow anybody to rule Nigeria. They will say it publicly. When they die, their children repeated the same thing. When they die, their grandchildren do the same thing. We are going to give Hausa people the privilege to be governor in all the Hausa states. to be senators in all the Hausa state, to be House of Representative member in all the Hausa state. We will make Hausa emirs in Hausa state. The same way you think that you can use half Yoruba to destroy us. Now we are doing our own legitimately because the land, Hausa land, actually belongs to Hausa people, but it is minority Fulani who are ruling them. We will bring back the power of the Hausa people. The same way you are trying to use Aregbesola to undermine the greatness of the Yoruba nation. So we have these problems that has been caused for a long time by half Yoruba, but folks, our generation has been born to repair the harms caused by our parent generation. Ganiyu Adamu, he conveniently worked for Jonathan like a common slave. Jonathan gave him 9 billion naira. He was destroying posters all across Yorubaland. Yet he's not a Yoruba guy. Why don't he go to, he should have gone to Nupe to be destroying posters here. The people of Nupe don't recognize him as one of them. They will kill him. But he worked for Jonathan like a slave, destroying posters in Lagos. In 2019, Atiku gave him money. He instructed all OPC member, OPU member to be campaigning for Atiku. At a point in time, he said he wanted to turn OPC, OPU into a political party. If I'm allowed to come to Yorubaland, I would defeat him in election in Yorubaland. People know the level of our intelligence. They know our sophistication. They know what we're capable of doing. And moreover, we're pure Yoruba blood. You understand? But he started disrespecting Tinubu. The actions of Ganiyu Adamu from Nupe is expected of somebody who is not a Yoruba man. Let me tell you one secret. Me, I went through hell in this country over immigration matter. I went through hell. I remember the mother of my children, she goes to church and pray just for us to get our stay in this country. Do you know how many Yoruba who have spent years? I spent 7 years. Some have spent 10 years, 15 years, 18 years to get their paper. By the time they get it, they have enormous respect, great respect for the English people. Look at the Yoruba in America. They went through all manners of horrible life to get green card. Some of them will even do sham marriages to get green card. That's why when the Caucasians are talking in America, they stand firm to respect them. But everybody comes into Yoruba. Nobody is respecting us. Igbo come and set up businesses. They go into all manners of criminal activities. They have no respect for Yoruba. Ganiyu Omonupe, he became Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, talking down on our political leaders. Sometimes he was even talking down on our natural leaders. Aregbesola, he became governor twice. He was commissioner for 8 years. He is now minister, talking down on Yoruba nation because they did not suffer. They did not struggle to get to stay in Yoruba. But Yoruba in America, you know the stress, the depression, the anger, the anxiety, the hopelessness you have to go through because of green card. Because you want to get your stay in England. When you get it, you will respect the country. But every idiot, every criminal, every foreigner, they come into Yoruba, they made it easy. That's why they have no respect for us. If not, Ganiyu Adamu will not be disparaging Tinubu. If not, Aregbesola idiot will not be working against the interests of Tinubu. You know, Aregbesola, they are the people that are asking the police to stop me from talking. They are using Kayode Ogundamisi. We're working on that Kayode Ogundamisi to track his paternity because he used to live in the north. He has been working for Fulani since 2011. That I know because he came to meet me in London, took me to a studio. He said I should give my name. I was very young then. That I should give my name and support Fulani. I said, no, I can't support Buhari. It's a Fulani man, I don't do it. He was the one that was tweeting on Twitter, hashtagging the Metropolitan Police, saying, reporting my video on the ultimatum. I recently realized that he was working for Aregbesola. I've been saying to Aregbesola to remove him for so long, unknown to us, that he and Showore were actually working for Aregbesola presidency. That was why he's always reporting me to the police, because I refused to work for Buhari in 2011. He wrote a nasty article about me in 2015 when the irresponsible Thames Valley police fractured my lower limbs, broke my eye socket, and dumped me in custody for 5 months. He wrote nasty articles about me, he and Showore of the fake Sahara Reporter. In 2017, when I released a video that was calling for the use of chemical and biological weapons, the hopeless guy was reporting me to Metropolitan Police on Twitter. You see that? In 2020, he was the one leading the force on Twitter, reporting my ultimatum that we gave to the Igbo. He was reporting it to the Metropolitan Police on Twitter. That made Metropolitan Police to come to my house saying that I cannot speak. They took me before a judge, and the judge said I can continue to speak, but I should do it within decorum. He knows this kind of Ogundamisi and Showore. They are aware that we support Tinubu. We don't get any funding from Tinubu. We support him because he's pure Yoruba and he's the man that would deliver us what we have always desired, a return to regional government. That's why they are trying to shut me up. They are crying that I'm exposing their plans. That Kayode Ogundamisi, I call him Kayode Irodamisi, is a propagandist par excellence, a terrible soul, and very ugly man. Very, very ugly looking idiot. I've said to the police, I said, I know it, but if anybody is not watching me, I'm there alone with him with a gun. I'm fucking going to blow him up because it's evil. He just lie about people. We won't condone this. These are what these non-Yoruba are doing, pretending to be Yoruba citizens. This is what they are doing. They are terrible. I think, guys, you must have seen recently the dressing of Seyi Makinde when he won the Amotekun outfit. You know, he dressed like Mobutu Sese Seko. Yeah, I think the guy is gradually turning into Mobutu Sese Seko. You know, Mobutu Sese Seko was known as an authoritarian man. He ran an authoritarian regime. He amassed vast personal wealth and established a one-party state and a court of presidency in Congo. If you look at it, I want you guys to go and look at that photograph of Seyi Makinde when he was wearing a Amotekun cloth. He's turning to be Mobutu Sese Seko. He was the one with Bode George who had some boys to remove Fayose's cap. That was what they did to Abiola and Bola Ige that led to his assassination. This guy, Seyi Makinde, is not a pure Yoruba blood. His mother is not a Yoruba woman. His wife is an Ijaw woman. You can see that. Two women, two most important women in his life, they dictate for him. It's a danger for the Yoruba greatness. They want to destroy Yorubaland, believe me. They don't care. The research has been done that people with divided loyalty, like half Yoruba, they have divided loyalty. They can't protect Yorubaland. We would just be bullshitting ourselves. You ask yourself, why is it that white people don't like their children to marry black? Why is it that white people don't allow black to get into political affairs? They control everything. Even English will not allow Scottish to be prime minister. They won't allow Welsh to be prime minister. They won't allow Northern Irish to be prime minister. Imagine if a Northern Irish is the prime minister of the United Kingdom, there will be reunification of Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland. There will be second referendum for Scotland. And if a minority Northern Irish is allowed to be prime minister, they will overrun the entire England and steal their wealth to develop Northern Ireland. But the English are not that stupid. They are not that foolish. So they are the only one producing the prime minister of the United Kingdom. But in their foolishness and their wickedness, they are supporting minority Fulani to be president of Nigeria. But in United Kingdom, they will not accept and they will not allow for minority Northern Irish to be prime minister. So we continue to accept and encourage half Yoruba to continue to undermine our greatness. Raufu Aregbesola is the latest half Yoruba being used by the Fulani to attack Tinubu and invariably destroy Yorubaland. Folks, we cannot produce the video, but in 2017, I made a video wearing a beautiful shirt in my usual kitchen table politics, where I condemn Raufu Aregbesola as the first person in Yorubaland to cause religious war. Something that you will need to notice about Osun State. If there is any skirmishes, unrest in Osun State, because it's the soul of Yorubaland, there will be negative impact throughout Yorubaland. Aregbesola was used by the Fulani to cause religious war from the soul of Yoruba nation, Osun State, where we have Ilefe. He came with hijab, 2016. I made a video about this, condemning him that he has caused religious war in Yorubaland. At that time, we don't even have a clue that this guy is an Ibira man. It's not a Yoruba man. He created that crisis over hijab. He took schools from the missionaries and changed their names and asked people to be wearing hijab. This brought about religious crisis in Yorubaland, but it was quickly doused down. But now, with the consciousness of finding out that this guy is actually an Ibira man, and he has been working for Fulani since he became governor, this man exposed him. Senator Senator Elisha Abo, the senator with HIV, who assaulted a woman at a sex toy shop. He was the one who exposed Aregbesola, that Aregbesola has been funding them for years, preparing himself to appear good to the Fulani because he's not Yoruba man. Can in Osun State, the Christian Association, they instructed students in the missionary schools to wear church robes to school when Aregbesola insisted that Muslims must be wearing hijab, even in Christian school, that is being funded by churches because the Fulani have instructed him to cause religious war in the soul of Yorubaland, Osun, where we have Ilefe. We saw a lot of people who came with church robes, who came with Olonde, Ijapa, put it on their chest, dressed as if they are going for rituals. Some irresponsible Yoruba Muslims who are not unaware of the intention of Aregbesola embrace the stupidity, saying that their children must wear hijab to school. How can you have a Christian school being funded with the tithes and donation from churches? They run a Christian school. Aregbesola took the school away, changed the school, and say anybody can go to the school and you can wear hijab, destroying the religious peace in Yorubaland. He was given that instruction by the Fulani to give in to parochial and narrow interests, essentially to cause a major religious war in Yorubaland. That action over hijab was a planned work. The Fulani were impressed with him. That was why they anointed him that you are the guy. They've tested him. They asked him to cause religious war in Yorubaland, and he went for it. He went for it. So Awusa Fulani said, this is our anointed son. Forget about what the nonsense Sultan Sokoto is saying about Fayemi. Yeah, man, it's Aregbesola. They asked him to cause religious war. He did. He took school from the original owners and turned them into state school. We're very gratified that Boyega Oyetola, who is also a Muslim, the current governor of Osun State, Aregbesola is trying to assassinate the guy. He has returned the school all across Osun State back to their original owners, the churches and the individuals who own them. And students have now resumed with their former names and their former school uniform. When Aregbesola was there, he changed their name. Christian school, some are St. Augustine, St. Teresa. There are all these Christian schools. He changed their names, asked people to dress in a particular uniform because the Fulani instructed him to do that. So while we are grateful to Boyega, but I'm disappointed in him that he's too meeky. He runs a government with a clear intention to do good for the people of Osun State, which is the soul of Yorubaland. But his government has been taken over by lankies, by proxies of Aregbesola who want to assassinate him, and is treating this with levity. No, we cannot afford to lose such brilliant minds, pure Yoruba blood, who are doing good for the Yoruba nation. It takes a shred of determination for him to return the schools back to their original owners. That's why Aregbesola and some PDP, they are trying to assassinate him to get at Tinubu because he's Tinubu's first cousin. They are trying to send a signal to Tinubu that if you don't back down from trying to contest the presidency in 2023, we'll deal with you. That is the clear message. But Aregbesola, while Boyega Oyetola is doing great for the good people of Osun State, it is not only teachers that are in Osun State. You need to create the enabling environment for businesses to strive. You need to try to regulate the mass migration of the Igbo into Yoruba. The people that will vote for him in Osun State are predominantly Yoruba. They are the core support base of his party, which is our party, the Yoruba APC. So he needs to satisfy the interests of the Yoruba people. The Osun State is the soul of Yorubaland. That is why we have our Orisun effect. And we are very grateful that he has shown leadership by returning school across Osun State back to their original owners. It is this leadership. I hope that the electorate in Osun State will remember this and vote for him for a second time. He has done so much greatly. Maybe tomorrow I'm going to talk about some of the things he has done. But I support his party. That is one thing that we do in Wawa. We're very honest with what we do. We support the Yoruba APC. And he's a very brilliant man. But I think he's very weak to confront the challenges of the PDP Yoruba and the betrayer in the Yoruba APC who want him assassinated. You know, this guy is working with this assassination plot. Showore. I told you Showore is working for Fulani. All of these things that they are doing, trial, treason, it's all bullshit. He's working for Aregbesola. This guy, Kayode Ogundamisi, working for Aregbesola. All of them are working for Fulani. They are trying to assassinate Boyega Oyetola by March next year. They will make second attempts. But we're going to talk about that. Now, I want to ask you this question, folks. Why was it very easy for Aregbesola to be used by the Fulani to almost cause a religious war in Osun State, the soul of the Yoruba nation? Why was it easy? I said something to Punch when they granted me an interview in 2017. Punch is going to release another interview they're having with me, the big trial. I don't know when they're going to release that interview because it's about my trial that is coming up next year. Understand? You're going to see a lot of beautiful things about that. My legal team have done a lot of great work. They trace my political works for over 20 years. They've done greatly about that. And they wrote a very nice piece about me. Punch is a very wonderful newspaper. I've been reading Punch since age 15. And it's the most widely read newspaper across West Africa. And it's very good. They don't do fake news. So we always encourage young people to read Punch newspaper at least twice in a week. at least twice in a week. So folks, I've asked you this question. Why was it very easy for Aregbesola to be used by Fulani to almost cause a religious war in Osun State, the soul of the Yoruba nation? It is because Aregbesola is not a Yoruba man. He's an Ibira man. Aregbesola's father's name was Yusuf Ali from Ebira. His mother was from Ileogbo along Iperido Road under Ayedire local government in Osun State. Aregbesola's father, Yusuf Ali, settled down at Ileogbo where he married Aregbesola's mother. Aregbesola has been working for the Fulani since he became governor. This was exposed by Senator Elisha Abo, who told the world that Aregbesola has been funding them from his first time. Today, he has been anointed as the candidate of Buhari and the Fulani to be president from 2023. He will never be, by the special grace of God. It is because he is not of a pure Yoruba blood. When we release statement regarding this campaign about Aregbesola, one of his close allies, who has asked me not to disclose his name, contacted us and said to us that Aregbesola sworn to him that he will never undermine Tinubu at all. But I said to the man, go to Alimosho local government. There is uprising against Aregbesola because of his action. Go and find out about what led to the death of Senator Pepe, who was recruited into Aregbesola's camp to undermine Tinubu. So when we speak with facts. We are very objective in what we do. We don't have to deceive the general public. We are the voice for the Yoruba nation, and people reckons with us. Igbo started coming to Yorubaland in 1945. For 75 years, there has never been any group or any Yoruba nation that has issued them an ultimatum. We did that 2 weeks ago. And the entire world listened to our voice. And the Igbo nation was shaking. And it's a clear message which they have accepted that Yorubaland does not belong to them. As the voice of the Yoruba nation, we will speak nothing but truth at every given point in time. And this is what I have been doing, and according to my pastor, for the last 20 years, because they were able to track my political activities since I was an undergraduate student. You know, they even tested my mental state of mind. In case you don't know, you know, in Yorubaland, we are very backward and illiterate society. They tested my brain, my mental health. And the doctor said I can stand trial. And I'm very articulate about what I'm doing. And this is the same thing I said. Apart from the fact that they traced the spike in my political activities that happened when the police assaulted me, because it was a shock of my life. I've never been arrested in my life. I've never been locked up in police cell. I have never been to prison in my life. But the irresponsible Thames Valley police did that to me in 2015. That gave me boldness to be more determined to do what I'm doing until we get our freedom, liberty as Yoruba people. And we will hand over a better civilization to our children. So, the Aregbesola team that contacted us, we will speak nothing but the truth. You're lying, you're working with Fulani to undermine Tinubu. That is why there is an uprising in Alimosho local government, because of your working with the Fulani to undermine Tinubu. It will be good you tell the public who killed Senator Pepe. Yeah, it was because of this nonsense that you are working with Fulani that has led to the death of Senator Pepe. He didn't die as a result of COVID-19. That was pure nonsense. It is what you guys are doing to undermine the Yoruba greatness that have resulted into you guys killing one another. The position Aregbesola occupies as the Minister of Internal Affairs is a deliberate position for him to understand how he can use the guns towards the election in 2023. He is working in conjunction with Kayode Ogundamisi, in conjunction with the Fulani, to always report my videos, my political speeches to the useless Metropolitan Police who just take pleasure in arresting me every now and then. They are all the same. They're working together, but they won't stop us. I know they are trying to kill me. I know they might try to harm my family. But look, we will do the same thing to them because we believe in diplomacy, which is reciprocity, tit for tat. We are not our parent generation. We're not weak-minded. We've had enough of this suppression. We've had enough of the subjugation of the Yoruba people. That is why we will be challenging the conservative government in England to allow the breakup of Nigeria. In 1 year, 70% of the Yoruba living in England will return back to Yorubaland and make it great. But they won't do that because they are controlling our wealth. You know, they have crude oil in England. It is controlled by the English. Our crude oil in Yorubaland, it is still English that are controlling it. They are the concessionary managing our port. Majority of you don't know that the Lagos Stock Exchange, that they changed the name to Nigerian Stock Exchange, has been sold to the London Stock Exchange Group. Who sold it? The former Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi. Something that was the ingenuity of the Yoruba youth in September 1960. English are controlling it. All the auditing that you do across companies in Yorubaland and Nigeria, it is the English that are doing the auditing. They control your life. English are actually stealing our wealth. The British government is a corrupt government. They are the people to be held responsible for why Nigeria is a shithole. We will not get out of this problem unless we get the support of the good people of the United States of America. We won't get out of it. That's why we are hoping that President Trump will pull it off and get reelected. So don't fall for the noise about Fulani that he wants to be president. This is just Fulani just using that to deceive you. Fulani is working for Aregbesola. The same Fulani that was driving Kabu Kabu in London. The same Fulani that Tinubu made governors. He's the same one that is hobnobbing with the people who want to undermine the interests of Tinubu. Don't be deceived by Showore. You know, there's a lot of things that you young people, you like to talk about. You say you want youth to lead. There is no nation that has ever been built by youth. No, adults does. You understand? You talk about Showore. You want somebody who cannot stand in front of the press and say, I'm an just citizen. You think it's going to be reasonable? It will be worse than all the leaders we've ever had in Nigeria. Somebody that is an just citizen who is not proud to say it. He was lying, trying to trace one family tree to somewhere that never existed. It's an Ijo man. It's not a Yoruba man. These are people that are disguised as Yoruba who want to destroy our homeland. We will not allow that. Pure Yoruba blood, we will not allow that. He is running propaganda against Gboyega Oyetola Sowore using Sahara reporters. You know what they are doing? They want to try assassination. If they can't get Gboyega Oyetola through assassination, They have enlisted Showore and Kayode Ogundanusi to run propaganda against him. But one thing I don't like about Gboyega Oyetola is that he's too cool for my liking. You know, you're doing politics as a governor. You have the evidence of these people trying to assassinate you. You are still cool about it. You speak up, man, and you deal with them. So that's what Showore is doing. Forget about the treason show. It's an ordinary show. Showore is working for the Fulani. The target is Yorubaland to undermine our greatness. I want you to close your eyes for a second. Imagine Tinubu as the president of Nigeria. Your life will be great. Believe you me. This guy is going to change the course of history for good. He will bring about a return to regional government. And if the Igbo and the Fulani disagree, he will break up the country. I actually believe that through Tinubu's presidency, we could get to the Dual Republic. Look at what is happening in Ethiopia. The Tigray were in power for several years. They were minority, like Fulani. So they were able to chase them out. But before they left, they all agreed to regional system of government. They have regions. You will recollect that Eritrea went to war with Ethiopia for 21 years before they eventually left and formed Eritrea. The Eritrean people were asking for a return to regional government. Then they were not given. Now, when the Tigray were chased away from power, but they reserved and resigned themselves to their region. But the idiots, president of Ethiopia, who had just won the Nobel Peace Prize, he wanted to take the regional power from them. He wanted to centralize Ethiopia again. The unity system that led to 21 years war with Eritrea before Eritrea broke away. After Eritrea left, they all settled for regional government. The current president is complaining that the region has too much power. That is what you have with black stupid people. United Kingdom, they are practicing regional government. So because of the action of the president of Eritrea, there is a war going on in that country. The Tigray, they want to opt out of the country now. They have been killing themselves for the last 5-7 days. The most prominent man from the Tigray region is the current leader of the WHO, is helping them to gather international support and to get weapons. Because he's from Tigray. Presidents in African countries, they have problems. They just want all the power to themselves. Majority of the countries across Africa are multicultural, multi-ethnic nations. You don't practice unitary system. You practice parliamentary system and you devolve political power to the regions. But the president in Ethiopia, because he won Nobel Peace Prize, he thinks that he have the international clout. You want to take power away from the region. There's a war going on there, and it will escalate by next year. It will escalate by next year. So you can see, if you relate that what is happening in Ethiopia with the action of Buhari, trying to bring in Aregbesola, because he's scared Tinubu will return Nigeria back to regional government. This is going to consume Nigeria, I can tell you. So it is Aregbesola group. You see, all of the governors who spoke out against us, Fashola was there. When Akeredolu, the half Yoruba man, spoke out against me in particular, he was pretending that he doesn't know how to pronounce my name. Fashola was there. Akeredolu was there. Fayemi was there. Even this boy, governor of Lagos State, I call him boy because I'm upset with him. I have enormous respect for him. He's not supposed to have stood there nodding his head when your benefactor, Tinubu, has been called out by Nnamdi Kanu to be assassinated, for his business to be destroyed. And I spoke out on behalf of the 30 million Yoruba youth, and you were there with this betrayer who have betrayed Tinubu, nodding your head. That's why I'm not showing respect to you. But we will speak to you very soon. We will speak to you. We're making that arrangement. But we are upset with you and we're saying it publicly. You shouldn't have been with those betrayers. The people who spoke out against me, it's a shocking thing that Aregbesola is working for Fulani. It's very, very shocking. Unbelievable. You know why? He was the one who started this No More Babasokwe. He was the chief of staff to Tinubu. Tinubu single-handedly put him out and made him governor. If Fashola had contested the primaries with Afikuyomi and Femi Pedro, they would have defeated him. He doesn't have a structure. He leveraged on the structure of Tinubu after he has done his 8 years. He wants to be the person to dictate for Tinubu. He started this struggle, No More Babasokwe, because he wanted his own candidate as governor. And Tinubu said to him, look, if you have contested for the primary, you will have lost the primary to Afikuyomi or Femi Pedro. So now you are saying that he Tinubu cannot appoint another candidate. Because of that disagreement, he has been antagonizing Tinubu since then. That was why he was easily swayed into the camp of the Fulani to attack his benefactor. It's a shame on Fashola as a person. We respect you so much. We're disappointed. So it is their gang. It is their gang. This Kayode Ogunamisi is the one leading it. They are the people reporting me to the police for my video on Igbo. They are not the one who reported me for terrorism. It was my former wife who reported me for terrorism. And they are not the one. But they are the people who were reporting me to police. They are the people, Aregbesola group. They are the people encouraging the police to ensure that I do not come out to speak. When we release information that I'm coming out to speak after 19th of November, the police came to court with me on Thursday, saying to the judge that I should be stopped from speaking. It is Aregbesola group that are pulling that string. You are a disgrace. He cannot deny the fact that he's involved in the assassination attempt on Boyega Oyetola that happened before the NSAS escalated. What they wanted to do was to assassinate Boyega Oyetola. There was a place, which I'm going to give you the name, they killed a guy in an area and brought the guy to government house to claim that it was Boyega Oyetola security men who killed that guy. The guy was killed by PDP Yoruba and Aregbesola group. They want to use that guy to nail Boyega Oyetola. Sarah reporter quickly ran a story around that. It's all propaganda. They are planning pure evil towards Tinubu, and Tinubu should reach out to the conservative young voices like us and several others. We need to close this deal. Otherwise, these people are going to destroy the Yoruba civilization. It was the work of Yoruba PDP. Some Yoruba PDP are working with Boyega Oyetola in his cabinet. We're going to give you their names tomorrow. Aregbesola group planned that assassination attempt. When that failed, they quickly moved down to Lagos to go and destroy Tinubu. You know, Tinubu was shaking. He was shaking because this has not happened to him in several years. I believe he should think long and hard and do the right thing for the Yoruba nation. So folks, you would then agree with me with all this information that we've given you. It is necessary to verify the background of all those who claim to be Yoruba before they are selected or elected by the general public into public positions. We can no longer accept the destruction of Yorubaland by non-Yoruba people and have Yoruba people masquerading as Yoruba. A good example is Ganiyu Adamu. It cannot amount to anything in Nupe land because it's from Nupe. Aregbesola cannot amount to anything in Ebira land. That's where he's from. But these individuals, they are so successful in Yorubaland. And the only thing they desire is to destroy their benefactor, Tinubu. It's a shame on these people. It is on this note that we are ending for tonight. And tomorrow, we will come out and give you further information in respect of some of the issues that we have raised tonight. And I thank you very much for your time. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.